Okay, I don't know if anybody's watching, but Dan ABA here with Travis, Colorado fly fisherman. Puka NC was also supposed to be here, but Puka can't drink beer anymore, so he misses out, which is unfortunate. Sorry, Puka. Anyway, we all brew the same beer using Belgian Ardennes yeast, however you say that, I'm not sure. And we each pitched different strains of Brettanomyces. We used all the same recipe. We even used the same water report. So the recipe, real quick, was about 6 pounds of pale malt, 2 row, 1 pound of Munich, 8 ounces of oats. I have 60-minute addition of 0.35 ounces of Magnum. That was the only hop addition, I guess. Water, I had, I don't have the ppm here handy, but for me it was 5 grams of calcium chloride, 4 milliliters of lactic acid, 3 grams of Epsom salt, and 2 grams of gypsum salt. And that's for a 6-gallon batch. And Travis pitched the different White Labs blends into 4 different beers. Then we also have a 5th beer, which is a control, which has no Brettanomyces. For me, I pitched the 4 blends from the yeast Bay, and also use the same primary yeast that Travis did, and have a bottle of one that I didn't pitch any bread into. So we're going to do Travis's first, since mine aren't cold yet. You there, Travis?
Yep, that'll work. Which one do you want to do first?
I'd say we go with the control. I'm gonna pour. I have a sheet of paper where I wrote all 5 of them down, and then I have 5 cups. I'm just gonna pour them into each cup. I got one still chilling though, so.
Oh, you want to pop them all right now? Gotcha.
Yeah. Or maybe we can do one at a time. I just want to be able to go back and forth. So we'll start with the no Brett. So it's just a Belgian pale ale recipe. Real simple. I don't know. Kind of sucks that Brad wasn't able to do this.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of plumbing issues.
Yeah, he had plumbing issues, and now he's got health issues. So.
Health issues, so.
Yeah, it sucks.
But he's doing a lot better. I talked to him like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've not tried the control. Like I said, it or like the unbreaded one. It the airlock went dry during primary.
Wow.
For an undisclosed amount of time, and well, I guess we talked about when we brewed these. How long ago was that? That was a year ago almost.
Yeah,
like that was so long ago.
These are pretty old. Let me check my beer smith. I have May. I have May of this year. But I don't know if that's correct though. It seems longer ago than that.
Yeah.
So I think I just didn't record that right. But yeah, it pours pretty nice, kind of fairly clear. It's a little darker in my camera. Maybe that's about the right color. And yeah, it's got a nice head. It's got a lot of banana on the nose. Fair bit of banana, but it's starting to go into like apricot, like stewed apricot a little bit.
Right.
But you still get nice breadiness from the malt too.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of that kind of. I'm actually a little bit surprised it's not more oxidized, just because the airlock went dry on it during primary, and then I pitched all the different blends. You know, we split them up into 1-gallon batches, but I was kind of expecting a lot more oxidation. I don't know why I hadn't tried this beer yet, but
yeah, it's I think the esters are starting to fall out of it. I mean, I think it is showing a little bit of age, but it's definitely not like super oxidized with sweetness, cardboard sweetness. And
you think a lot of that has to do with like using a low hopping rate? Almost might help it in this case.
Maybe, yeah, possibly. Hops are also supposed to preserve, but um, yeah, I think don't get a lot of phenols in this one, and mine didn't have a lot of phenols either in this yeast. I'm not super familiar with this yeast. It was the Y yeast Ardennes yeast,
Right.
and we didn't do any starter. We just pitched straight out of the pack, right?
No, I did a starter. Yeah.
Did we do a starter? Oh yeah, we did do a starter. We did a 1 liter starter, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just kind of a drinkable pale ale that's just got a slight bit of real light stone fruit and just a hint of banana.
Right.
Okay, on to the next.
All right, which one?
I'll do. I'll look up the 650 I've got in the fridge. How about the 653? That's the Lambicus.
Okay.
White Labs 653 Lambicus. On Milk the Funk, it says horsey, smoky, spicy, different than Y uses Lambicus, approximately 500 millicell, blah, blah, blah. So not a great description on there. I wonder whose fault that is. I don't know.
Probably the guy that runs the wiki over there is. He does. He's all right, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you can definitely. I mean, you can definitely tell that that there's Brett in this one. I'll be.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a little bit mild on the. It's kind of got that kind of like straw, kind of mild. I actually have 100% Brett beer on tap right now with using this Lambicus.
Uh-huh. Is it similar to this? I get a lot of funk and a lot of pineapple. I get like a little bit of the...
Yeah, kind of fruity.
Yeah, I get a lot of pineapple, and then I get some footy funk. Like some blue cheese kind of funk.
It smells pretty nice, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, you get that real strong pineapple.
Right. Yeah, so I just took it.
I get a little bit of the spice and the pepper.
Yeah, so I get like kind of the fruity, like kind of a light fruit, and then it kind of finishes almost like a slight leather. It starts fruit and then kind of goes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Finishes with the leather, a little bit of spice.
Yep.
And you get a little bit of the footy funk in there as well, but it's real. That's real subdued.
Yeah, it's a real mild one. The only one I've had of this one was a 650, but yeah, this one's definitely. I mean, it's pretty nice. I could picture this in like an Abbey Ale or something. You could throw some bread into like a.
Yeah, I think it's a little more on the funky side too, because when you exhale, you get a little bit of that like bad breath or stinky cheese or something.
Yeah,
so it's definitely a little.
Could just
funky.
be you, but I mean, could be the bread. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely me. No, I'm kidding.
I actually really like that one.
Yeah, I think in this beer it's still a little bit lacking. Like I want something more to it. It's got like a real light, like you said, real light, refreshing fruit, kind of like pineapple mango-ish kind of a thing. But it's real light and almost watery, and maybe that's because of the beer. You know, the beer is only 5% or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not like super complex bread or anything like that. It's pretty. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty one-dimensional. But definitely, this is kind of one of those beers you could just hammer beers on.
Yeah.
And one thing that was interesting, I didn't. I think I must have lost my notes, but the finishing gravities on all of these was different. It wasn't like some of them finished out at like 1006. I think one was 1004. One was like 1008. I mean, so they're definitely, they finished quite a bit lower than, I think the original one is probably 1010, probably around there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it definitely took the gravity down, but some more than others, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes to show, like, if you were pitching one type of Brett, if you were mixing Bretts, or like mixing two different Brett beers together, like one could still make that beer drop lower.
Yeah.
You kind of think like it hit, the Brett beers hit terminal gravity. Well, if you add different Brett, different Bretts will eat different, eat longer chain sugars or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the same thing. So I didn't take, well, I took Brix readings. So I guess I'll talk about that later once we get to the yeast-based stuff.
Okay.
I can give you the.
What did Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
All right.
That's.
So what's next?
Let's see. Do 645, the Clausenii. I'm real curious about this one, Clausenii.
Okay.
I don't use a lot of the Clausenii myself that I know of anyway. So I'm real curious about this one. It's got the same color, same nice head on it. Huh. I get like a little more wine grape kind of a character.
Yeah. You definitely don't get nearly as much fruit as you did on the last one. It's definitely more kind of, I don't know if earthy is the right word, but
Yeah, I can see that earthy.
Oaky maybe, like an oaky kind of.
Yeah, wood-like almost.
Wood, yeah.
And a little bit of a like a flowery aroma to it, more so than fruit.
Okay.
It reminds me of like violets or something like that, some sort of flower. A little bit of citrus too. I like the nose on it. It's kind of complex, more complex maybe than the other one, than the 653. This is the 645, and let's see what Milk the Funk has on that. 645, just fruity pineapple. That's all it says.
I think this one's less. This one still has a little bit of, on the flavor, it still has it's. A little bit more fruity than the smell.
Yeah. Definitely less funk than the 653. It's cleaner. It's got like a nice clean aftertaste to it.
Yeah.
Definitely fruitier in the taste
Than the smell.
than the smell. Yeah. I think that's more drinkable, just because it doesn't have the footy funk going on. But it's also a little bit one-dimensional too on its own, I guess. It's not, you might not even pick this out as a Brett beer if you're not super familiar with Brett, because it's not funky at all, really, to me.
Right. You could almost kind of say it was just like a normal yeast with a little hops in it.
Yeah. I bet you these are the kind of Brett beers that people get dinged on in competitions, because people always think of funk and more of the WLP 650 or WP 653, excuse me. They think of that flavor profile more so when you have the Clausenii is just kind of clean fruit.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure how well this beer would do in a competition as far as a Brett beer. I think both beers would say, and I don't know if that's something I did or maybe there was just kind of a lot of Brett beers. I don't know about your experience, but they always seem to be 6-7% maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if yeah, they're definitely, I mean, they're both of these beers have been really good, really drinkable. but not super. And actually, I've not made very many Brett secondary beers. Surprisingly, I mean, I've done a lot of 100% Brett beers, just never beers like this. So
Yeah.
I don't really know how I've never done a whole lot, so I don't know how much funk and Brett flavor I normally get from different recipes. So, but I know commercially a lot of Brett beers are a lot more horsey and kind of, who knows what they were using, but
Yeah. Well, one of the things is that we were real light on the hops on this beer, and I think hops, kind of adds another dimension to the beers.
Mhm.
And we did that on purpose, right? Because we wanted to evaluate the yeast itself.
right.
So
I don't think we're planning on like over a year, but
yeah,
some of us drag our feet on bottling and stuff, so I don't know.
some of us had house floods
House floods.
because we were waiting for Brad. We waited, and then the health part of it came up. So that was kind of
yeah.
It's good that he's taking it seriously, though. I'm glad.
Try the control again.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the banana comes out more for me.
Yeah, I definitely don't like it nearly as much as when I first tried it.
Yeah, and I think I'm picking up on the oxidation more too, because the oxidation comes off as like it's not cardboard. It's like sweet caramel,
Okay.
like a sweetness.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that banana kind of flavor that's in this is either super subdued or not very much in the two Brett beers that we've had so far. I mean,
Well, that's because it's isoamyl acetate, and isoamyl acetate
broken down.
broken down by Brett. Yeah. So if you
I
ever
already
have a
knew
Brett
that.
beer, what's that?
Yeah, I already knew that. I was just setting you up for the
Oh,
for our viewers. I mean, I had all that
yeah, sure.
locked down. Yeah.
No, yeah, that one's.
Oh yeah,
If you ever have a Brett beer
that
where
is
you get banana, then you know that it's a young Brett beer.
Hmm.
Do you want to start on the next one? I'm going to go grab it out of the freezer. Hopefully, it's chilled down a little bit.
Yeah, the 650.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the 648 still too.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe you can start on the 648 while you're talking. I'll go grab the other beer.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. What was the name on this one?
What's that?
What's the name on this one? 648. It's the
648. And 648 is this is the new one. This is the Vry, the Trois Vry. The one the one that replaced the one that replaced Trois. It's supposed to be like pear.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be the same thing as BSA Dry, but I did another side by side with BSA Dry and this one, and it was like completely different.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, this one kind of goes back to the fruit a little bit. Kind of like an overly ripe kind of fruit. Smells almost similar to the 653. Yeah, they smell pretty similar. It's kind of funny. It's definitely got kind of more of a complex scent too, but it's definitely on the fruitier side.
Do you get the pear?
I don't know if I'd have said it, but I like opened all my beers up right away, so they're all kind of like.
Oh, I'm just opening as I go. That's all right.
Yeah. Let me try something.
Yeah, I was gonna look at blending them later.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with pear, but I kind of get like overly ripe fruits to it.
Hmm. Yeah, I get the pear, but I also get the similar pineapple that was in the 653.
Yeah, that's what I said when you were gone. I said it smells very similar to 653.
Mm-hmm. But it does have that extra dimension.
Yeah, a bit more complex.
I get more bread, not Brett, but bread,
Hmm.
I think. You know what's interesting is this one's less carbonated to me.
Oh,
Is,
is it?
is your bottle less carbonated? Hmm.
Yeah, maybe slightly.
This one reminds me of drinking a Sprite, like on the aftertaste. It has like a lemon lime aspect to it. And in addition to the other, like the stone fruit esters,
Hmm.
but it's got like this kind of rindy lime rind kind of a thing to me. It's almost like more refreshing in the the lemon lime zest.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Interesting. I wish we had the BSI dry to compare against that because they're supposedly they're supposed to be the same strain. I don't think that they are, but you don't know. I mean, it's hard to really tell. You can't
Right.
know for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure I
Just based
like
on
this one
numbers.
as much, actually. I think,
Yeah, I would like it more if it had some hop character to go with it. Like, it's pretty one dimensional
isn't this
on
the
the
strain
fruit.
that everyone is using for 100% Brett beers nowadays? Isn't
No,
that,
I don't think so.
was it not?
This one is new. It replaced the Trois like a
Okay.
year ago or something. And I haven't heard a whole lot about 100% Brett beers on these. I think Ed Coffey did a comparison of this with the BSI Dry, and I think he did 100%. I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, and they were both good beers, but this one, the one that he did with this strain, wasn't as good as the BSI Dry. The BSI Dry was really nice because it was a little bit funky. It was fruity, had a lot of different fruit character. I would say this is more clean. Like you don't get a lot of funk in this one.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't get very much funk at all. It's just like, yeah, a little bit of citrus and a little bit of kind of like overly ripe, kind of, general tropical fruit type.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much nails it for me too. Coming to get you, man.
There.
Again. All right. Let's try your baby. That's 650, right?
Yep.
Oh, 650. So,
It's a Bruxellenus.
oh, that's Bruxelles. Oh, so you didn't do the Trois, the Saccharomyces Trois.
Yeah, no, I didn't do 12. Well, I
Okay,
did, but it spoiled.
gotcha. That's too bad. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
This one's carved. This one has an interesting description, I think. It's a barnyard on this one. That's it. Puka did the Y yeast ones.
Right.
The 653, a lot of people thought it was like the same, but I guess it's verified just through sensory that it's not the same. Just
Oh, people are thinking that 653 and 650 were the same?
not 650, but the lambic is from Y yeast.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Anyway, back to this one, 650. Yeah, that one's definitely like got the leather funk going on, right?
Yeah. I think this is what they call like that horse blanket. Like that's that. And horse blankets don't smell anything like this, by the way. I've smelt a lot of sweaty horse blankets. And
Yeah, they don't smell like beer, right?
I kind of want to say this is kind of my favorite smelling one so far.
Hmm.
And I think it's got, I think the taste kind of, the smell carries over for the taste for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely not as fruity as the rest. It's more leathery and
Mm-hmm. But it's not over the top leather, at least in this beer.
no,
It's balanced.
no, but it doesn't have that lemon lime that, or that tropical thing going that the other ones do.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
I think blending a couple of different ones. I mean, you could blend the beers. That's one thing. I don't know if you'd get the same result if you blended the yeast, though.
Right. You think one would take over more, and then
Yeah, something like that. But blending finished Brett beers is also kind of an interesting idea.
right.
Like a little bit of a funk into the one of the fruitier ones. The cool thing is that I don't think on any of the Brett ones, maybe the Clausenii a little bit. I'm looking for the oxidation character. I want to say that there's, going back to the control one, there's like this kind of raisiny thing, and I think that's the oxidation. And you don't
Oh
get
yeah,
that in,
definitely smell raisin, huh?
yeah, and you don't get that in any of the Brett beers, including the Clausenii one, Clausenii 645, which, you know, they say Brett is a oxygen scavenger.
Right. Yeah, the control's tasting worse and worse every time you go back to it. It kind of
Yeah,
starts to kind of show its age, and
yeah, it's definitely, it wasn't a beer designed to be aged either this long. So I mean, that's not to say that, you know, the beer was bad or anything like that. It's just we should have drank this 6 months ago. This particular one, the Brett beers,
right,
I think, benefited from the time.
right. Yeah, this one is kind of like my first impression of this, and it's, you know, it's obviously warmed up too, which doesn't help the control. But as it warms up, it's gotten that oxidation that I said wasn't really there is definitely there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're. I mean, you can make an argument that the Brett beers are somewhat similar, but it's totally changed it from the control,
Mm.
which is
Going through them all, um, again, now that they're warming up a little bit, how would you rank them? The control out of it, though, like just the 4 Brett ones.
right. Let me see.
Wow, I think I got my ranking.
Oh, you're going 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I like the 653 the best, actually. Now that it's warmed up a little bit, followed by the 650, and then 645, and then 648 is just kind of bland almost compared to the other 3. It's just there's not much to it.
I definitely like the 650 the best.
Yeah. Over the 653. I like the 653 because it's well, let me see if I can put it into words here. 653, as it's warming up, has that real nice pineapple that I like in Brett beers. And the 650 has it too, but 653 also has the funk. It's got a funk to balance the fruity part of it.
The pineapple.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because we thought the 650 was more like leathery, right?
Right.
But it's like a dull leatherness, whereas the 653
Yeah,
has has like a snappiness to it.
The 648, the Brett, uh, not Trois, Dre, is definitely my least favorite. And I wonder if it's slightly undercarbonated, which is kind of weird since I use the carb drops.
I think I had I did another side by side with pediococcus, testing different pediococcuses, and I used the same yeast, so it was the same sack, which was just like USO5, and then finished with Brett, which was Bring on the Funk, I think, from Omega Labs. And the weirdest thing is that one of them didn't carbonate. So, and I didn't add any like yeast at bottling time. Same with these. We didn't add any yeast. We just relied on the Brett only, because that's just another variable we wanted to not deal with. And so I wonder if the survivability of Brett sometimes is a little bit overestimated, because we have a lot of discussions on Milk the Funk about how Brett should be stored and how how survivable it is in different conditions. Because Chad Jacobson was talking about on one of his presentations that Brett, when he kept it chilled and then he brought it back out, like for 6 months, it would die, which is contrary to like microbiology. Yeah. And so a lot of the
warm.
Right, he stores it warm. A lot of the microbiologists are like, that doesn't make any sense. And even I think Chad said that, during his presentation, it was really weird.
Right.
And, Mark Trent and Richard Price, a couple of the guys on Milk the Funk, are doing a lot of experiments to try to narrow it down, because they've gotten some strange stuff. Like, so far it looks like within 30 days, keeping it cold is better. But then after 30 days or after 6 months, going warm is better. So I don't know. There's just some, really weird stuff going on with Brett, and like just how survivable it really is.
Yeah, I think people think it's just going to last forever. Like I just tried to culture some yeast out of that Apothe. What's that beer?
Apothecary.
Apothecary. And man, I let it go for like 3 weeks and nothing happened. It just, I dumped it into a starter, and it was just everything in there was. I mean, nothing. Nothing. I mean, that beer is 10%, so that doesn't help.
Yeah,
and it was a year and a half old or something, or a year old. So
the bottle was a year old.
I had the bottle for a year, so who knows when it was packaged and stored before they sold it to me. So
he ages all of his beers for 2 years, no matter what,
before he sends them out.
Yeah. So
it was 3 years old. So yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I couldn't get that beer to take off. There's Brett in there, but it was totally. I mean, I didn't do like a reading or anything, but it just never fermented out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you want to do the yeast bays another day?
Yeah, we definitely could.
I don't think mine are going to be cold. So.
Yeah, we can do them a different day. I mean, my palate's a little bit.
Yeah, that's that too.
Not as fresh as it was. So what do we think about as a summary? So I liked 650. Now that I haven't drinking a beer in a while, let me try them, because it's between, for me, 653, which is the 645 is the
Clausenii. Yeah, I definitely like the 653 better, but I do like the 650 as well. I think this, for this particular beer, the 653 was more balanced and more interesting in character. 650 had like this kind of nice leatheriness, but it's kind of dull, whereas the 653 finishes real nice. It's almost got a slight bit of a bitterness to it, maybe, that balances it.
Okay. Yeah, you convinced me.
Well, Don't make me influence your decision if you like the 650 better.
Oh no, I was
I mean,
going
it's
for
all subjective.
645 to 653 is what I'm at. I think, yeah, 653. Now that I poured it a little bit more and it's a little refreshened it. That is nice.
Yeah, I can see where you might like. The 653 has maybe a little more oxidation character to it because it's got a little bit of a candy sweetness, whereas the
Yeah.
650 doesn't have that.
Yeah, I think I like the 650 best, 653, 645, and then I think we both agree that the 648, the Dre is kind of.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that one, man. I haven't had any good examples of it yet.
Yeah, it's just after just trying it, it's almost like a overly ripe
Yeah,
kind of fruit character
yeah.
to it, but
And the rumor is that it's the same as the BSI dry or Dre strain, and the BSI Dre is really really good. So I don't either they're not the same or they're just something's happening with, I don't know, mutation or something like that. But
right.
wow, okay. So that was really fun, really interesting.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised almost how similar they were. I mean, the 650 was definitely a bit different, but the 645 and the 643, or the 653, I mean, if you were to give them to me 10 minutes apart, I don't know if I could identify which one is which. Obviously, you can right next to each other.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. They're definitely similar in the fruit aspect, but the 653 has that extra bit of
You're right, like
leatheriness.
a more of a, it almost tastes more bitter, doesn't it?
Yeah, or
It finishes,
tannic or something. Yeah,
it finishes with a bit more of an oomph than the 645. The 645 just kind of drops off your palate, and the 653 kind of finishes strong.
Mm-hmm. I think they all have their ups and their downs. As the beers warm, they change, and
Definitely.
then my opinion of them changes a little bit, as they warm. And then you top up, and then it changes again.
Right. Yeah, like as soon as I topped up the 653, I didn't want to go back on my saying that I like that one the best, but
yeah, I almost wanted to go back on saying that maybe you're right about the 650. It's
I knew I could talk you into it, Dan.
all three of those strains are good though. I'd say the Vry is pretty disappointing though. I mean, I can't get it to taste good no matter what. It warms up, tastes even worse than it did when it was cold.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does not taste better.
Just, yeah, nothing to it.
Oh, I've mixed up all my beers now. Shit. I was pouring beers out. Anyways, I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
I'm going to mix them up now. Yeah, I'm probably going to just throw them all into one big glass and finish off the night.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, that kind of good.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast here. You got any more thoughts on
it? No, I mean, I don't think so. Just Brett really does make a beer that doesn't age very well age really well. So it's kind of, I mean, kind of not new knowledge there, but
yeah, but interesting. You can make good Brett beers with just a really basic pale ale that had a little bit of oats, and that's the only thing that was weird about it.
Yeah,
it was even 2-row. It wasn't even Belgian pills. It was just
2-row, and that was about it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Well, should we give them a prize for listening to this far? Because how long has this been? Who's the biggest nerd that listened to both of us yad about nothing, just like saying numbers, not even the names? We were just saying 653, 645. We should have written the names down. I guess, right?
Well, the names are just as stupid, so
Right.
Lambicus. What does it say? They don't even think they really have names. They just call it like,
Lambicus, Clausinii, Bruxellenus.
yeah. And the weird thing is Lambicus doesn't exist. It's actually Bruxellensis as well. It's just what they call it, Lambicus. It's
Well,
old.
it can only be Lambicus in Belgium. So in here, it's American Lambicus. A fun fact.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm gonna end this broadcast.
Sounds good.
Cheers to anybody who's watching.
Yeah.
All right.